Well, it turned out not to be a bad day out there today. A little bit cooler than normal, but we're getting used to below normal around here, aren't we? That's pretty much what it's been the past 5 months. I got some big changes on the way in the extended outlook. I've got much warmer weather to talk about. We'll get there in just a second. Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather, bringing you your latest video update, sponsored today by Metal Magic in Washington, located across the Radio Shack. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555 for all of your paintless dent repair needs. Remember, they have that traveling hail team. And folks, write that number down because there may be a time in the next couple of weeks that you're going to need them. In fact, I've got the potential for some severe weather to talk about tonight. Not anything coming up in the immediate future, but sometime within the next couple of weeks, really a little over a week away, we've got a chance of it, and I'll show you what that means here in just a second. All right, but for right now, for us, no rain around here at all. The nearest precipitation you have to go to find is up in Minneapolis. They're getting one heck of a snowstorm up in the Wisconsin and Minnesota areas. That's not going to affect us, though. This is all moving off to the north there. If I just put a stop on this, let me sort of illustrate what you got going on. You got a low pressure centered about here, got another low pressure right around in here, and you've got a cold front connecting those two. Now that will move our way on Friday, and that'll bring us our next chance of precipitation. In fact, this particular low pressure right here is going to ride along that cold front and move over us, and that'll give us our next shot at precipitation. But as we take a look at future radar, what you're going to see is it's not a decent shot at precipitation at all. It looks very minor. Here we go through the evening hours tonight, completely dry. Thursday, absolutely nothing to worry about until the nighttime hours. Here we are about midnight on Thursday night into Friday morning. You start to see a little bit of showers approach from the west and move in. That's in response to that cold front and low pressure starting to move through. And you can see that it's just very spotty even overnight. And then really by the time 1400 on Friday comes, it's all gone. That'll be about 2 o'clock on Friday for those of you not in the military time, which is what the models end up going by. So it looks like Friday will be a little bit of rain on Thursday night into Friday morning. The high resolution NAM is not aggressive at all. The GFS wants to bring us a little bit of additional shower activity on Friday afternoon, but it doesn't look like this is going to be a big rain event by any means to speak of. In fact, I'd be surprised if we end up getting a couple of tenths of an inch of rain out of this, the way things are looking right now, maybe even less than that. So that's a good thing because we certainly don't need it now. Beyond that, Easter weekend looks pretty good. In fact, it looks like we're going to see just nice warm temperatures and partly cloudy skies on both Saturday and Sunday. So Resurrection Sunday looks absolutely beautiful weather for you. So if you're going to church on Sunday morning, you should have no problems. It does look like Sunday night we've got some more rain moving in. Here I've got the GFS model pulled up, the high resolution NAM. The future radar product on that doesn't see out there yet, but I've got the I've got the GFS pulled up here, and we'll take a look at precipitation type. Here we are Sunday night at 8 p.m., and you see we're still clear around the area. So no problems, as I said, on Easter Sunday. We should be pretty well dry on there. By the time the overnight hours into Monday morning early comes in, here we are at about 2 a.m., and you start to see some of that precipitation moving in from our west, and then it lingers around. Even here we are on 2 p.m. on Monday, lingers around, but then again, by the time you get into Monday night, here's 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning, you can see it's all gone. So it's a little bit better of a chance than it is on Friday, but not an overly aggressive chance. Again, the models with this is, maybe another 3 or 4 tenths of an inch of precipitation at most in the way the modeling is working on this right now. So not a extremely soaking rain type of an event, and I wouldn't be surprised for it to see even less than that, the way the models have been trending. So that's certainly a good thing. Again, we've got a lot of rain lately, and we don't need it now. We've got a nice warm-up to take place. Yesterday, it was stinking cold around here. We only made it up to the low 40s most of the area. In fact, some of the area even only saw the high 30s for a high temperature yesterday. Right now, as far as temperatures go outside, we're not too bad at all. If I just put on the METAR data here, you can see pretty well into the mid-50s around most of the area. And that's beautiful weather, but that's also about 15 degrees below normal. Our normal high temperature is around 68, so that's still much below normal, but we have big changes on the way. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center has put us in a well above normal chance over the next 6 to 10 days. And if we take and extend that out to the next 8 to 14 days, you can see, again, we're in that well above normal chance. Let me just show you the data to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the temperature data, the raw temperature data from the GFS ensembles. And take a look at how beautiful this is. Yeah, we started out with temperatures here in the 50s today. It did not make it up to 58 like the ensembles were wanting to say today. We made it a little bit less than that. But take a look up here what we're seeing. 60s, 60s. By the time you get into the weekend, Easter Sunday, 74, not bad at all. And then take a look at this, even 80s possible by next week. Next weekend, still in the 70s as far as the eye can see. I mean, this is going to be a treat compared to what we've had. Now, does this mean that we're ending a below normal pattern? I wouldn't go that far just yet, but we'll see. Right now, it looks like we've got a nice warm-up coming, and we'll just kind of take it as it comes. Could this be a pattern breaker? I don't think so. I still think that we're going to have a chance of going back below normal after this. But keep in mind, our normal is 68, and that normal only rises by the end of the month. It's going to be more close. It's going to be a little above 70 by the time we get towards the end of April. That should be our normal high. So really, by the time you're ending April, this 73, 74, that's about where we normally should be. So if we do end up in a below normal pattern, it may maybe start to warm up into the 60s rather than the 50s. One day at a time, though, and you know, right now it looks like we're going to see some above normal temperatures, which is certainly a good thing. Now, the next rain chance, storm chance that we've got after that, remember we've got a little bit of a chance on Friday morning, inside Thursday night into Friday morning. All right, I'm not even sure that we're going to see thunderstorms out of this. I think it's going to be more of a rain event, and I think it's going to be pretty spotty, and then moving on. Then on Sunday night into Monday, we've got another chance of rain. May see some thunderstorms potentially with it. It may just be rain. We'll see how that goes. After that, we've got a pretty dry week coming out next week. But by the time next Friday and Saturday hits, a week from tomorrow and a week from this weekend, we stand the good shot of what could end up being another round of severe weather for us. Take a look at what the surface map does with this. And here we are next Friday evening on the 25th of April at about 8 p.m. You see a very, very, very strong low pressure system. This is actually moving away from us, but it is dragging a very powerful cold front behind with it, which is going to have quite a bit of precipitation with it. Now, with this, we've got some dynamics in place. Let me just take you over to this. We've seen these charts before. Now, we're 228 hours away from this, so there's nothing definite about this at all. We're still about a week and 2 days away. But if the model trends continue with this, then it's going to be one that we're going to need to watch very closely for this. Take a look at what you see here. This is the low-level jet. You got an upper-level low here at the 850 millibar level. You've got a very strong low-level jet. And notice that the upper level low is negatively tilted. We've talked about this being negatively tilted before. In fact, the surface low here is also negatively tilted. Let me draw this for you. And negatively tilted, what I mean is the lines around the low sort of go in like this. Remember that winds wrap counterclockwise around the low. So what you're doing when you're putting that negative tilt on, sort of acting like a vacuum cleaner from the Gulf of Mexico, and it allows warm Gulf moisture to sort of stream up in there, and it allows rising motion in the atmosphere much more rapidly, much more quickly, and that makes it more conducive to severe weather. That's what we see. We see a stacked low pressure system, and by stacked I mean as you go up into the atmosphere, you see an upper level low associated with the surface low, and the upper level low is pretty powerful, also negatively tilted. Notice you got a very strong low level jet. Go up into the mid layers of the atmosphere, and you notice that you have impressive wind energy with this as well. And notice you've got even 70 and 80 knot winds out here, and as you move in closer to time, whenever this would push right over us, right now it looks like a late Friday night, a late Saturday night into Sunday morning, according to the GFS model right now. The Euro actually speeds us up into Friday night into Saturday morning, so there is still a timing difference that the models have to work out on. Euro doesn't get as excited about severe weather with this as the GFS does, but we'll see. Something that we'll want to keep an eye on for sure, but just take a look at the impressiveness of this. You've got winds moving this way, you've got winds moving this way. Let me illustrate that for you again. We've also talked about this. We call this divergence, and that is strong winds that are being forced in opposing directions as it exits this jet streak. That's powerful winds that we'll want to watch out for. So there's plenty of wind energy with this. Even instability-wise, if we take a look at CAPE, convective available potential energy, again, we'll notice if it ever comes up here that we've got CAPE energy as well, which plenty of fuel in the atmosphere. Moisture-wise, if we just take a look at the precipitable water, what you're going to see is a straight funneling from the Gulf of Mexico coming up our way. So plenty of warm, moist air to deal with. Temperature-wise, we're going to be warm. I've already showed you. If I get it on the right one here, I've already showed you from the GFS ensembles that we're looking into the 70s at that time. Mid-70s, certainly possible by the time that you hit this. Dew points, if we could look at the dew points as well with that warm, moist air, we're getting into dangerous territory with the dew points as well. Dew points surging into the mid-60s, even nearing 70 potentially there as well. And if we just take a look at rotation in the atmosphere, we could take a look at our shear product. Plenty of bulk shear. Bulk shear is a change in wind speed as you go up. Yes, plenty of bulk shear to go with this. Look at the crossover. That's the change in wind direction as you go up, and you've got plenty of crossover as well. So all modes of severe weather would be in the table if this were to verify. Now, is this going to verify? That's the next question that we got to say. Well, we are 228 hours away from this. We're a little over a week, about a week and 2 days according to the GFS, a week and a day according to the Euro. Again, there's some timing differences that we have to work out. But can we trust the data this far out? Well, we've always got to be skeptical this far out, but it's a flag that we've got to keep an eye on. Whenever we see a strong storm system like this, we've got to wonder. We'll track it over the coming days. Now, just to give you an illustration of where the system is now and how we'll be tracking it over the coming days, let me take off the temperature data here in the radar, and let me just sort of throw on our model overlay here. And let me zoom on out here. See this storm system right here, which is a very powerful low. It's a 994 millibar low located here over Pacific Ocean. That's the low that's going to spawn all this for us. This is going to be that negatively tilted low. It's actually going to take a route sort of like this over the coming days, move down, and then eventually move up and go negatively tilted here along with a cold front and cause the potential for some severe weather here. But if you just think about traveling from right here over to right here, and you think about how many miles away that is, we got a long way to go in the next 7 or 8 days in order to get that here. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. And the other thing about this is, remember that we don't get really completely reliable data until this moves on shore into our upper air network, because the buoys that we have out over the ocean just are not as reliable. They're a lot more sparse compared to the dense network that we've got once it moves over land. So over the next coming days, we will certainly be keeping an eye on this, but that's about all we can say at this point. So flag that down in your system. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll change, maybe it won't, but we will see over the next coming days. But regardless of that, we've got a very nice warm-up coming on. Above normal temperatures our way, and even 80s possible over the next week. So let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Go to southernindianaweather.com. You can click on 7-day forecast, sponsored here by Ubelor & Sons. Not as cold tonight, going down to 39. Beautiful day tomorrow. Again, the rain potentially moves in on Thursday night into Friday. Not a very significant chance. I've only given it a 30% chance. It's not an aggressive one at all. The warm-up really begins over the weekend, and yes, it is nice to see 74 degrees for your Easter Sunday. Slight chance of showers, but I think it holds off until the overnight hours. Rain, not a whole lot of it, though. Again, it's only a 40% chance of rain on Monday. Not a very aggressive chance, but hey, we're still in the 70s, even in the 70s as far as the eye can see, and of course 80s potentially by Wednesday. We'll keep an eye on it. That is it for tonight's video, folks. We'll have another update for you later. For Southern Indiana Weather, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night.